Yeah, so when we make decisions, we're like, I'm right, of course. Like, I'm right and he's right. But then we both had to come together and you're telling me that I'm not right? What do you mean? Explain yourself. Go through your reasoning, your logic.
Hey everyone, I'm K.A. Will.
And I'm Gabby.
And we are K&G Culture, where we came up with this concept before we got married that we wanted to create our own culture in our household. That basically means we didn't want the same culture exactly from the households that we grew up in, from our parents and their habits and their ways, but we wanted to do things, a little different. And we realized it was our choice to create that culture in our household. So here on Marriage Journey, we want to thank you guys, our culture family, for joining us for another episode. We talk about our unique journey in marriage because we realize that our unique journey could help someone, and we hope that this cultivates conversation. We really want these videos to cultivate conversations, engage in conversations in your household, so you can decide what you want your household to be like.
So, our topic for today: we versus you and me.
Right, when two become one.
Yeah. So, Kareem,
Uh-huh.
what did you think becoming one look like, or what do you think it would look like?
Yeah, I thought like we would, of course, have some differences, but then for some reason, I think there's a fairy tale, to be honest with you, in our mind sometimes when we hear the two become one, that everything is just going to mesh together perfectly. So let me start by saying that.
Yeah.
But then I realize that that is not always true. Well, it's never 100% true.
Yeah.
When I think about us, I was looking at the fact that we had, the same type of background, and we were from the same church. So to me, I didn't think it was going to be a stretch for us putting the two together, like me and you coming together and being married.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What about for you?
I thought it'd be easier than what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I saw what it had to be, I was like, never mind. Let's just be individuals. Because it took compromise and not getting your way. Like we said before, we're both firstborn, and so we were trailblazers in a lot of ways and had to make decisions. Like our parents are foreigners, so had to navigate America or whatever. And so when we make decisions, we're like, I'm right, of course. Like, I'm right and he's right. But then we both had to come together, and you're telling me that I'm not right? What do you mean? Explain yourself. Go through your reasoning, your logic.
Right. I
gotta make sure it works. So I was like, never mind. I don't want that. Let's just do our own thing. But over time, as we learn to compromise, it's getting a little bit easier for my ego, just a little bit.
Mercy. I thought guys.
No. No.
But anyway, as you can see, I think the thing with the two becoming one is one of the major points is when it comes to decision making. I see that we are so used to making decisions on our own, talking about before we get married. We're so used to the single life or being on our own, living on our own, making our own decisions, and not really having to answer to anyone other than God, Right. So it's like you're so used to doing that, and depending on how old you are, if you've done it for 20, 30 years, and then all of a sudden you want to be with another person,
you're right.
It's like, oh, I have to run my decisions by you, or I have to tell you about my decisions.
And look at your stink face when you don't agree.
Right, when people make stink faces. So, and look at, but also the value what that they might not agree with the way you say to do it or stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we actually got into conversations before and after like we first got married about the words we use, because we realized using certain words, and you may have heard this, like saying I and you versus we. So I took that into consideration. I said, you know what? That's true. I mean, because when you say you, it sounds like you're blaming.
Correct.
Like you're blaming that person. So me trying to be the good husband that I am, I started saying we. Hey, we need to do this. Hey, we need to do that. And I got a sharp remark. Would you like to share, or you want me to share what the sharp remark was? So I say, we need to do this, we need to do this. Don't say we. You try to patronize me. And I was like, oh, okay. I thought I was doing the right thing, but clearly.
You guys see how calm I am on this video and in the previous videos. So I don't know what caricature he's trying to portray.
Really?
That's not me.
Right. So I was seen as somebody trying to patronize the other person, but in all honesty, I was putting forth my best effort in trying to change the words that I use, so I didn't sound like I was trying to accuse Gabby. So I started saying we, and then to me, when you say we, it puts accountability on me as well. Like, oh, I'm supposed to have your back when we do this.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So to me, we does work. And she calmed down after a while. She realized that where my heart was, that I wasn't trying to patronize her. I was simply trying to change my language to better our communication, so it doesn't seem like we're versus each other.
Correct.
Because honestly, when you say you and I, it does sound like a versus thing rather than a team thing. So
here's an example of why I was annoyed by the word we. So Kareem would ask me, did we pay the bill? And I'm thinking to myself, you know if you pay the bill. You're early asking me if I paid the bill. So I was like, I don't understand the purpose of we in that standpoint. But like he said, I did understand his heart underlying, like he's really trying to make sure that it's not a battle, it's not a versus, it's not blaming you, like we do it as a team. So let me tell you guys instances of where we've had conflict and had really to compromise and become a unit, a united front per Bernie Mac. So when we first got married, we didn't have visitors, and so some people felt salty about it, and of course I felt salty. I was like, I want certain people to come over, right? Come over, see our new place, see what's going on. And from Kareem's perspective, it was more of, we just got married. I wanted to be you and me, and we didn't have any furniture, so we didn't really want people thinking, oh, we're so poor and broke that us getting married was a bad decision, because we already had some pushback from family members. So I was mad. I was like, because then I'm getting pressure from family members of visiting, and now I have Kareem talking about no. And he was like, do this for me. I'm your husband. I was like, yeah, you're right. So I compromised and just we saw family later when we actually got furniture and a nice looking place. Another issue where we differ is whether when we make extra money, if we're gonna invest or pay towards loans, because we watch some people who say, pay off your loans no matter what, any extra money you have, versus some that say invest in yourself by investing and.
Did we differ in that?
Yeah.
What was the difference?
You were more of let's invest, and I was like pay off the loans, pay everything off. And so now what we've done is split that extra money, some of it towards investment and some of it towards loans.
I find that interesting. The reason I find it interesting is I'm the one who likes to save. So I'm not saying I didn't say let's not invest some, but I don't remember it being like a different thing where I wanted to do all invest and not pay off loans, because I'm trying to get rid of things.
I'm more of all loans and you were more of, okay, let's try to do some investment.
Oh, okay. Because when you first said, I was like, I don't remember just saying just invest. Anyway, go ahead. That's you.
I'm gonna check that out. I'm letting you know right now. Oh, here's a small one, but it bothers me. So, Kareem doesn't like the idea of the kids being the last ones to get picked up from school.
That's right.
And I don't like that idea either, but I also know when I come home, I'm starving and I need to eat. And I don't want to feel rushed to go pick up the kids when I'm really trying to eat or relax. But Kareem B wanted to pick up the kids like an hour early. I'm like earlier than when the place closed. And I'm like, I need some time. So what we've done is like 15 minutes to 30 minutes before we'll go pick them up. Or he picks them up so that I can eat and relax. Or what I really want to tell him is go in the room, go do what you have to do. Don't worry about the time. Don't look at the clock. I got you. I'll go pick up the kids when I picked up the kids. Yeah. So those are just examples of like big or small like conflicts that we've had to like hear each other out and make sure everyone is heard and then make a decision based on that. And it might not seem like big deals from the outside looking in, but I think part of the struggle is I am younger, and in our religious community, in the religious community, most men are head of household. So not only am I young, but Kareem would be considered head of household, which I thought ultimately meant he makes all decisions, doesn't hear what I have to say. So I was scared that I would lose myself and not be able to bring my perspective, my unique insight into whatever conversation and be heard and valued. So that's why I fought against unity, because I thought it meant think like Kareem. And he can tell you, I literally thought unity was think like Kareem. Again, I'm younger, he's older, he's wiser, he has more experience. But over time, he had to bring reassurances to me that yes, I do value you, even if the decision is not what I wanted. He let me know that my voice was heard.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, because one of the things that we learned was always keeping the door of communication open. So when you come and think that, it's only what the other person thinks, you've already shut the door of communication to where no matter what that person says or doesn't say, you're not really listening because you think we're always going to do whatever that person says. The other thing is when you said about losing yourself, we also had a conversation where we realized that just because the two become one, there's no more you versus I or whatever, is we. You don't lose yourself. It's more of we have a common goal, and we just may think differently, have different opinions, but we still want to reach that same goal together. Mm-hmm. So we have a goal, we pick a goal, whatever. I have my way of how I think it would work for us to reach that goal. Gabby has her way of, but that doesn't mean we can't come together because we have a common goal. So I thought that was very, very important to keep in mind, that it's not necessarily the method, but the fact that you guys have the same goal that you both want to reach. So because you have a common goal, you can reach some kind of common ground. Right. Because, all right, this is going to get us here. We both want to get here. So, right. Yeah, I thought that was important to remember. But the other thing is, instead of losing yourself, I realized that we actually gained strength knowing that it's two of us that is one now. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is, you may have a day where you're down, or you're just not in the mood, or you just feel off, and it's reassuring to know that you have someone else that you can lean on when you feel that way, and you actually gain strength. Right. knowing that they're there for you. Like, hey, you know, I'm not feeling it today. And I think I've told you before, for me, it's reassuring that I'm able to say, you know, I'm feeling down today. And it's okay for me to say that without being judged, without feeling criticized, that I'm just not feeling, I don't feel good, or I don't feel bouncy, I don't feel like my normal self, I had a bad day. It's okay to say those things. I'm not okay. That is reassuring. Being the fact that I can say that, and like I said, not be judged or criticized, that gives me strength. That gives me reassurance, and it would make me want to keep that door of communication open with my wife even more.
Right.
So I greatly appreciated that. So I see the benefits that way. When we look at the positives of two becoming one,
Right.
You know.
Right.
I didn't know if you had anything else as far as that's concerned.
I don't directly. However, I keep thinking of when I think of two becomes one now, then versus what I did before. I keep thinking of the passage in the Bible about the body and how it works together to get to where it's going, and how the head can't do anything without the neck, the tongue can't do anything without the mouth, you know, the arms can't do anything without the shoulders, and so not one is greater than the other, because you need the whole body to work. Same thing for even within cells. You need I'm being nerd. Within the cells, you need the mitochondria and the nuclei and all these proteins and things to work together in order to survive and to do what it's made to do. So that gives me hope that it's not about who's better than the other, who is greater, who's more right than the others. Like about working together to do something, to do whatever we want to do. And it is great to be reminded of the goal when we do have the conflicts, especially like I told you guys, our budget meeting before. Again, look at it from my perspective, someone who thinks that, oh, I'm losing myself, I'm not being heard and valued. Guess what my answer was for when he asked me the question? Whatever you say. What do you think? Whatever. So now that if we do have a conflict, we're like, okay, what is our ultimate goal? It's to pay off these loans, to retire early, and to have a legacy for the kids.
Yeah.
So then...
And get our time back.
Yes, get our time back. So then this conflict, this roadblock, how are we going to be able to advance towards our goal? And then it makes us be able to compromise, you know, each of us being able to compromise a little bit in order to get there. So it is I found that helpful to be reminded, what is our goal? What are we going to do? Where is this going to lead us?
Right. And I realize in something that you said, it's a give and take. Like, when you come together with an issue, I realize, well, let me say this. I realize it's not always about being right.
Yes.
And I think that's a lesson we both had to learn.
Yes.
It's not always about being right. Now, of course, you don't want to make a dumb decision together, but let's say you do. Then you're in it together and you work through it together. So it's like, man, we shouldn't have done that, but all right, how are we going to fix it? Or we know not to do that next time. And then you just move on, because if you make it about being right, then it's going to feel more, what's the word? You're going to feel more like you're criticizing each other.
Resentful, blame.
Yeah, it's going to feel like it's coming out of a negative place, out of bitterness or resentful place. When really, sometimes it's just about communicating. It's just about relating to each other. So it's not about being right. And then again, like we said in previous episodes, I know I had to learn and be reminded that there could be more than one way to do it right. There could be 2, 3 ways to do it right. So we do that. And then it also relieves pressure. So when, we get into something and I say, okay, well, how would you like to handle it, or let's try it your way, or yeah, I think that's a good idea. Even if in the back of my mind I think there's a better way, I'm like, is it worth, you know, conflict? Is it worth the relationship? Is it really worth the fun? Put it this way, it doesn't measure up with being able to relate to you and being able to say that we did something together and it feels good that we did something together. So when I weigh all those things, I'm like, you know, this is more worth, you know, being right, or doing it my way. So
God
yeah,
is
that's
working on me.
you still working on that one?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean,
because sometimes I'm like, if you would have just.
So you can see how, and if you haven't been able to tell by now, how we both have like dominant spirits. I'm sure from watching these videos, you will learn that if you haven't already. But sometimes dominance is being able to say, I know how to step back.
Yeah, sometimes as a leader, yeah.
Yeah, as a leader. Because like I said, it's not like we're going to die. It's not like we can't make back the same money if we make a mistake. So I'm just like, all right, girl, you want to do that? Let's do that.
The assumption should be, girl, you want to do that? I know it's going to work out.
But it's true. No, I'm glad you said that. I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's how my baby want to do it. Let's do it. So, like I said, it's still unique. It's still interesting to see every time it happens. I'm like, wow. As opposed to how I felt before about it.
Correct, right.
You see what I'm saying?
That's true.
Like when I looked at how I felt about it before, I'd be like, this girl still ain't listening. But she don't want to hear me? All right, cool. But now it's more like, yeah, we could try that and it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. And I do have to, we kid, but you know, it is for me a struggle and something to fight my flesh all the time, to be like, oh, I'm right, or we should have done it this way, to be like, and so I do try to work on saying we in my mind, and especially with talking with others, say, oh, we decided this, so I don't want him to put shame on him or his name or on his decisions. But yeah, I have an ego that needs to be broken down all the time in order to make the marriage work, to be a good mother, and to like move forward. So you guys can laugh at me, but at least I'm showing progress.
I love you, girl. I can laugh because I love you.
So they can't laugh.
So yeah, we really hope again that this has ignited some type of conversation, or will ignite a conversation in your household about becoming one, working as one, and what that looks like, what that sounds like, what it feels like, especially when it comes, like we said, to making decisions. So we want to thank you again, Culture Family. I'm K.A. Will.
And I'm Gabby.
See you guys next time.